Hey guys, Zomfox here, and today we're going to be talking about the best player, arguably from the USFL, is now going to the NFL in the Defensive Player of the Year, Chris Odom. Odom was pretty arguably the best player overall in this league. He was outstanding his year with the Gamblers. He was pretty much one of the main reasons why that team was actually competitive in a lot of games, and he's heading to Cleveland. As for his stats in his career, he has played in the NFL before. He's been in a few practice squads, but mainly he played for the Packers and at that time, the Redskins. He, with the Redskins, ended up having a forced fumble and 2 sacks, so that was in one game. He also had a TFL, and he had 9 solo tackles. As his time with Green Bay, he had 1 TFL and a few tackles, but he didn't overall make an impact enough to actually stay on the roster in either team. As to the USFL, though, he was the 4th overall pick for defensive end/edge rushers. He ended up being all USFL defense and the Defensive Player of the Year. And to me, it wasn't even close. Overall, his 12.5 sacks dominated the rest of the league, as I believe Adam Rodriguez was second at 9.5. And then he had multiple blocked kicks, which I don't know the stats there, but he blocked multiple kicks. He had a pass defense, 6 forced fumbles, which is incredible. He was an awesome player for that team. As for the Browns, the team he's going to, in terms of their defensive ends, their starters are Myles Garrett and Damien Clowney, two, notable and people know they are guys. Second string, you have Alex Wright and Chase Winovich. Lesser extent, you might know they are. And then third string, you have Isaiah Thomas and Isaac Rochelle. Probably don't know him. And then fourth string, Curtis Weaver and formerly Stephen Weatherly, which is because, as for him, Weatherly did just get a season-ending injury, which is one of the main reasons they signed Odom. But Weatherly, he has been a very solid rotational piece guy who can start some games, but naturally the injury is kind of ending the season. The other fourth stringer, Curtis Weaver, he was a 5th round pick in 2020. He didn't even play in 2020, and he only played in one game last year. He's definitely someone who Odom could overtake. Then Isaiah Thomas is their 7th round pick. Solid, pick to get, another defensive end. Getting him late in the draft can help with depth, but I don't know. I mean, considering the fact that all 4 of these guys are late round picks, with 3 of them being 7th round, as Isaac Rochelle is also a 7th round pick. But he has played in a few games. He did start 6 games for LA during his last year there with the Chargers. He ended up getting 2.5 sacks, 29 total tackles, and he did have 5 sacks in his second season. So he has showed some promise as being able to be a good depth defensive line guy. Then as for Alex Wright, he was a 3rd round pick this year, trying to shore up that defensive end rotation. Chase Winovich, very solid player. Last year he was not nearly as good as he was the other 2 years, but his first 2 years in New England, he was a very solid guy to have on that defensive line. He had 5.5 sacks both years, and he increased his total from 26 to 48 tackles. Very solid player. Then their starters, everyone should know these guys. Damien Clowney was a 1st overall pick in 2014. He was a 3-time Pro Bowler, a 2nd-team All-Pro once, and he's overall been a very solid defensive end for pretty much his whole career. Last year, he ended up having 9 sacks. Awesome player. Then Myles Garrett. Yes, we know about the helmet thing, which I think is one of the funniest things ever. But in terms of the actual career, being a 1st overall pick in 2017, he's ended up being a 3-time Pro Bowler as well. But he was a 1-time 2nd-team and a 2-time 1st-team All-Pro, and that's what he's been the last 2 years. And considering the fact that he's had 10 sacks every year but his rookie year, awesome defensive end. So I think that Odom could become a 3rd stringer or 2nd stringer. I think that this is a team that defensive end, even though I know some of you will question the depth, it's still, this top is too good for Odom to really get on there. So that'd have to be injuries or something else, but we'll see. This has been Zomfox. If you enjoy this content, we're going to be notified as soon as I upload any videos. Make sure to subscribe and hit the bell, and as always, have a great night.